Voodoo here. So I'm here today with a nice quick Monday video for you guys where I'm going to talk about crafting. Specifically, I already done like a crafting guide, but I want to talk about if Dawnthread or if the Dark Moon deck is actually better for you. And at the end, I also want to talk about just what you can do with the rest of your sparks and also on your crests and stuff. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, help grow the channel. We're pretty close to 12,000 subs, which would be great to hit. But with that, let's go on to the video. All right, so first things first is just going to be like, what are the two embellishments? Well, the two embellishments here are going to be Dawnthread lining and Nerubian embellishments. Okay, 2 Dawnthread and then also the Nerubian patch plus Dark Moon deck. So Dawnthread is honestly pretty familiar if you've been around the game at all. In Dragonflight, it's basically blue silken lining. Some small differences to it, but basically while you're above 80% health, you gain critical strike. You gain about 756 critical strike for every Dawnthread you have. Now, the weird thing about these is that in Dragonflight, these scaled with gear eye level, so the eye level of the gear you have them on. In the War Within, they're not. I have no idea if that's a bug and that's intended, like what's up with that. But it's a very weird thing. So if you have a 606 piece or if you have a 636 piece, they'll both give you the exact same amount of stats from your embellishments, which is kind of weird. I guess it makes them worse, but honestly, embellishments already are pretty bad. They're better than nothing, but they're not a very good one. They're nowhere near as strong as they were in Dragonflight. So it's kind of weird they don't scale, but that's neither here nor there. So that is one of the really good ones. The other two are a combination of these two. So Dark Moon deck Ascension is this one. This can actually go on to the Sigil, which is the real one. Dark Moon Sigil Ascension. This goes on a weapon. You gain Ascendance, and then Ascendance gives you a random amount of a stat. For 15 seconds, every 8 seconds, stacking to 10 times. So every 8 seconds, the stat you get will change. And then you keep that stack, it'll roll to a new one, and it'll gain a stack up to 10. So, you know, after 8 seconds, you get 89. After 16 seconds, you'll get like 180. After, you know, so on and so forth. And each time it'll rotate. And then while you're at max 10 stacks, it'll rotate every 8 seconds as well. So you're at 10 stacks, it's been 8 seconds, okay, it'll go from mastery to verse or something like that. And then 8 seconds, okay, it'll go from verse to haste or something like that. It changes every time it tries to apply a new stack. And then that is paired to the Writhing Armor Banding, which just doubles the effect. Because for some reason, this specific deck is a Nerubian embellishment. I assume because it's Ascension, which is very Nerubian Void themed. But basically what that does is it gives you double the stats. So you actually gain like a decent amount of stats from this. Downside with that is that roughly half the time it's either haste or versatility, which isn't that good for you. But the other half of the time it's mastery or crit, which is great for you. So this is kind of like an RNG thing a little bit, and then this is a lot more focused and a lot more consistent. Now, the thing is, which one's actually better? So if we look at logs, some logs here, we can actually see what people are using. Now, 71% of people are using Dark Moon Sigil and Writhing Armor Banding on these parses. 16% Dawnthread and Dark Moon, and 6% to Dawnthread. The rest of these we're not really going to care about because these are weird and not really what Havoc is using. Maybe they're Vengeance players, maybe they're doing whatever they want. So look at that at Ulgrax, at Bloodbound on Mythic, should be pretty similar there. 83%, 6%, 5%, and 3%. And then finally on Sikrin, you'll see a similar number, 84, 12, 1, 1, 1, and 1. Now, why I'm talking about this is because I had someone ask me a question. They were like, Voodoo, you went double Dawnthread. I see a lot of people with Dark Moon Sigil Ascension and Writhing Armor Banding. Why are you doing that? Now, there's a few reasons. Now, one of those is that the uptime is really, really, really good. When we were recommending embellishments, we weren't sure how high uptime of Dawnthread we were going to get. Now, in Heroic Week, we saw we were getting 85% plus, and that has transitioned over to Mythic. And this is going to get even better the more gear you get. If you look at some of Shad logs, Shadow Shadowrek, Wowhead Guide Rider, I know he is also a double Dawnthread user. And we find his rune-bounded stuff here. They both have Dawnthread on them. There and there. If we look at some of his logs, we can see uptime on Sikrin. He has 86% uptime here, which is pretty good. Uptime on Ulgrax, he has it at 82%, 83%, which is good, but there's also ads here. Important to remember that for later. And then finally on Bloodbound Horror, he actually has it up at 93.73%. Now, this might vary depending on how good your healers are, how good you are at avoiding damage, but generally speaking, and I've found this too, I'm able to keep it at 85% or above on basically all the fights pretty reliably, just because of it's 80% of your HP, which is very common. If you look at resources, hit points, it doesn't really drop to 80% that often. Very, very rarely, and that's just kind of the nature of how fights are these days, where often, oh, this is all friendlies now. And anyways, oftentimes how things work is just burst damage, right? So you'll be at high health, you'll go down, quickly top back up. So you're not actually going to be at below 80% very often. Now, I do have sims here. So what I want to illustrate, this is with an 85% uptime. It is very slightly better. Now, I just put this Warglaive at 639, so I didn't want to go digging around for finding another weapon, but it's just to offset the 3 eye level you'd lose otherwise. It's basically the exact same with the woven Dawnthreads on pure single target. But the fun part comes in when we go to AoE. So this is Dungeon Slice. Now, Dungeon Slice, you'll have relatively higher percentage. In dungeons, you'll have anywhere from like 90 to 95%. And the reason for that is because you'll have it on pull, which is the most important part. So it's a little tough to sim that way. But, you know, basically just sim as if you were having really high uptime. And we see it's a 1% gain. Now, this is Dungeon Slice. In Mythic Plus, you're going to lose out on the stacks from Ascendants all the time. The way that works is that you actually get them every 8 seconds. And if you're out of combat for more than 15 seconds, boom, you're done, you're dead, you lose them all. For more than 8 seconds, it's really weird. But basically speaking, if you hit that 8-second mark and you don't get a new stack, you still have 7 more seconds of the buff, but it won't refresh it because the buff will drop off before you get a new stack. So if you're out of combat for more than 8 seconds, you actually will lose it, which is bad for when you're trying to stack stuff up. So Dawnthread is incredibly powerful in Mythic Plus, and even just in like pure AoE, it's even better at 1.1%. Now, there's a few reasons for this. Again, like I was saying, the downtime, the fact you have it all the time in your burst, but also it's just the consistency. Dawnthread's one of those things where it's always going to be crit. Sure, it's going to be less stats, but you're never getting haste, you're never getting verse. Yeah, you're never getting mastery, which is even better than crit is. But crit is a really, really good baseline to always have. Instead of like 25% of the time you get like a solid one, 25% of the time you get a great one, and then like 50% of the time you get like a pretty subpar one. Basically always going to get a pretty good one, which I think is a little bit better, honestly. Now, of course, you could high roll and get a ton of mastery, but for the most part, it'll average out to about 25% each. So the reason why I think you probably shouldn't craft Ascendants is because of the AoE and cleave capabilities of Dawnthread, and the fact that it's like the same on single target and better as you add more adds. And as I showed, you can see there's actually very high uptime in the raid. Now, the reason you're seeing a lot of Ascendants right now is because that's what we recommended early. The reason for that is that crafting a 636 weapon is the best craft you could have done on the very first week of Mythic Raid. And when you crafted that, you can only have 2 embellishments, so you might as well throw an Ascendants on it because why not, right? Now, when we recommended everything, we didn't realize that these wouldn't scale with eye level, which did kind of screw everything up. But basically, at this point, if you do Mythic Plus at all, if you're doing any AoE bosses, which there are a ton in this raid, I would just go Dawnthread. I know a lot of people are going Ascendants. I don't think it's as good. Now, grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter. We're talking 1% maximum in AoE here, right? Like, that is going to be such an insignificant number. It doesn't really matter. But if you're trying to be as optimal as possible, it's going to be a little bit better for you. So I recommend doing that just to get a little bit more out of your crests and your crafts and stuff like that. But that's not all about this video. So I do want to hop into the game real quick and just talk about other things to do with your crests. Okay, we're talking about crafting real quick. So what you want to do first off, and pardon my gear, I've been really busy, so I'm a little low eye level than I should be, but hopefully we can grind out some dungeons over the weekend, whatever. But what you want to do is you want to craft 2 mythic items. Now, what I've done is I crafted a weapon, because weapon is just the absolute best craft you could make. And I crafted hands because it's my lowest off piece. So you want those both on mythic. Now, if you only have enough crests for 2 items, I would do a mythic sword, mythic this. Sword, even if you use Ascension and then remove it later, still very valuable. And then what you want to do is there's going to be a little spider right about here to give you a quest to kill Queen Ansarek. Once you do that on any difficulty, and it includes story difficulty, which it unlocks, and it's you with 9 other NPCs, it's very easy to do, would recommend doing that. You get a heroic crest, which will let you craft an item at 619. What you want to do is you want to use that for your other Dawnthread piece, right? Because nothing scales off eye level, so it doesn't really matter if this is a little bit lower eye level. Now, you don't really want to upgrade that with crests until much later in the season, because it's actually way better to use your crests to upgrade slots or to craft up high, like to do like big eye level jumps. Like right now, this ring, I haven't gotten a better ring. It's a 606 still, it's from an M0. So if I were to have enough crests to craft another ring, that'd be a good upgrade for me. But I don't really want to increase this. Generally speaking, it's just going to be more efficient to use those crests to increase your items, right? So I've used mine to increase this trinket, going to increase this trinket when I get more, and just increasing any mythic items you have. So I have these wrists, only mythic item I have right now. So use those, bump them up, instead of crafting other pieces. Now, because I have a 606 ring and it'd be a 30 level increase, I'll probably spend my crest on that. But you don't really need to be doing this to increase your off piece because of the free heroic one. Now, if you're a grinder, I'm not a grinder, and you've hit max round with any of these factions, so 25 or 24, I guess, right? You get one of these crests, which allow you to, actually wait, this isn't the heroic one. One of them has a heroic one. This one. Nope, 606. Okay, I thought there was a heroic one. I guess I'm wrong. Heroic reward, whatever. I know, enchanted rune. I don't know. I think you can get one of those to increase your item level up to 619. I don't know if the tooltip's wrong. Yeah, because it's ruined. I don't know. I think the tooltip's wrong there, but you can get one of those to increase your eye level up. Then you'd use that. Obviously, I am not a grinder, but yeah. So craft your 2 items, craft your weapon, craft your off piece. Use your heroic crest on another Dawnthread piece. If you don't have the ability to get 2 Dawnthreads, it's fine having Ascendants as well. And then use the rest of your crest to just upgrade items, or if you make big eye level jumps on like jewelry or like a high eye level piece, like a hand, or like an offhand or something like that, and just go sailing from there. Yeah, so there you go, everybody. That is going to be the video today, talking about like which is actually better for crafting and then just using your crests more efficiently. So hope you guys enjoyed. Quicker video today, a little more informational, not as much gameplay wise, but if you're really trying to min-max, get the most out of your character right now, I think this is going to be pretty helpful for you. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, let me know. Make sure you like and subscribe as well to help just spread the video around. If you can hit a button, hit the like button. It helps me out a ton. It costs you nothing and it really does help support the channel. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching so much. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. A big thank you to all of my channel members. Thank you, Sky Elk, Andrew Keenel, 100,001 Zans, Brad Wisniak, Felfa Darren Dark Terror, and Magic Man 133. Thank you all so much. If you want to help support me and help fund the channels and the videos, follow the link in the description to become a channel member and get some cool perks in the process. Again, thank you all so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.